So, how is everybody's day? What are we up to in Florida for everybody? I guess
Yeah,
We're just
Florida.
being here, enjoying living by the mouse.
living by the mouse. Yes,
Living by the mouse next door.
I have in Iowa. I have. It was we hit at 50 today. I'm gonna call that spring, but we're supposed to get an inch of snow tonight, so that's winter when I wake up. So we don't know.
Oh wow. Yeah, it was beautiful here today. I don't
Yeah, it
know
was.
what the temp was, like maybe 80 and sunny. There's like three
Yeah,
clouds in the sky. It was just a gorgeous day.
it's
I am
beautiful.
jealous. I am jealous. I can't wait to get back to Florida. Hopefully sometime soon.
Well, come on down. We know people there.
Dude, I'm in. Yeah, I am in. I'll be there. How long will it take to drive?
Just hop
Come
in
visit.
and
I
pedal
definitely
to metal.
will.
We'll
All
hit
right.
the parks.
Are you guys ready for some cute intro music?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is the Fandemic, hosted by my dad, a podcast about catching up and nerding out.
With anyone whose awesomeness levels rival mine.
So level up your awesomeness and welcome to the Fandemic.
I love it.
Right?
I
wouldn't.
didn't hear it. I couldn't hear it.
Oh, you couldn't?
No, I was like, I didn't touch anything. I swear. But hey, as long as we're still together, I mean, I don't
Also,
feel too excluded. But
You can send Terry the audio later so he can make it his new ringtone.
I definitely will. Everybody needs a little Princess Leia as their ringtone.
oh, man.
Welcome to the Fandemic. This is a podcast about talking to different people, finding out what their fandemic and how we each level up our awesome. I just really like to get to know people I may or may not know. I literally wrote the book on leveling up your awesome. Yes, really, it's called Leveling Up My Awesome. Check out that and my other kids' book, Stuffed Animal Night Force versus the Dream Invaders. I'm the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin, and this is Terry Jarrell, Crystal Gorski, and Amy Rolfsen. How are you wonderful people doing today?
We are fantastic.
Spectacular.
Great
Wonderful.
day. Beautiful
Great.
day in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, rub that in. Rub that in. Here as I'm in Iowa.
Well, only Florida people would talk about the beautiful weather in Florida on a day that's just astoundingly beautiful in Florida, and with no snow in sight. But we wouldn't run it in the ground about being in Florida or anything.
Yeah.
But whenever it's not blazing hot or disgustingly humid, we really take pride in those days that we can say it's a really beautiful day in Florida.
Yeah, get back with us in about 2 months. Please, can we come stay with you?
I mean, you guys. Hey, I'll show you around Iowa, and we can just stand in my backyard. And we can be like, all right, if you look far enough, yep, that's probably Minnesota. Now let's turn around. All right, and if you look far enough, yes, you could probably see Texas.
Oh my gosh. You know what? When it's 115 degrees here, though, I wouldn't mind.
Do you guys have a lot of humidity there?
700-800%.
Yeah. When it cranks up, it cranks up. You get out of the shower, you put on your clothes, you go outside, you walk to your car, and you're already damp again.
That's gotta suck.
It does suck, but not today, because today is a beautiful day in Florida. Yeah.
This is like our 2 or 3 day, twice a year span of, oh my God, we can go outside and not die instantly.
Like perfect weather.
Let's not jinx it, you guys.
Find some wood, knock on that wood.
Yeah. But it's good stuff. At least we got weather everywhere. So,
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on the Fandemic. And we are going to talk about Harlow's Haunt tonight. We have a couple of actors and the writer, director, producer here. So before we get into that, I want to know, what is your origin story? So we'll go a little bit round table here. Who would like to go first? You want to do rock, paper, scissors, or just go?
Wait, take it away, Terry.
No, I say ladies first.
Let's
I
go with
think Terry should go
Eldora,
first.
Crystal Gorski.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. So
Crystal
I'm
Gorski.
Eldora. I am from the 1920s, so I am the older cast. And I get to work with John Dugan. Most of our scenes are together. He is freaking amazing. I love John so much. We had such chemistry on set. Like, I've never felt anything like it before in my life. And, you know, everybody that's in this room right now was in that room. And I didn't know how special it was when it was happening, because John and I just kind of, you know, we went all in. So, but it was amazing. So my origin story, you have to watch the movie to find out. I'm not going to give much away. But me and my son Ari, we're looking for a place to hunker down for the night, because it is the backwoods of Florida and it's sticky and there's mosquitoes everywhere, and we've been walking for a long time. So
Fantastic. All right,
Yeah.
Amy, what about you?
I played Beth. So when Crystal mentioned the 1920s, we actually have a dual timeline in Harlow's Haunt. So there's two different cast. They're kind of going like this. They're connecting, but they're not connecting, but they're connecting. And that's just part of the fun that you'll get to see when you watch it and put the pieces together. But Beth is part of the present day cast. She's part of the group of friends that decide to go to this haunt, and you got to watch to see what happens.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, Terry.
Origin story. Well, once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away. Did I get that right? Maybe I'd screw that up. I you know, ignore.
Well, it depends on where are you going to start. Are you going to start like when it was good, when it was bad, or when it's really bad?
That's true. Well, no, actually, and one thing I want to point out with Amy, she was also an associate producer and also kind of co-pilot right hand at Black Dog Films. So she keeps my brain straight on a daily basis with all the chaos we have going on. But the story, as we've found out, does take place in dual timelines in 1926 and present day. There are tons of parallels, but there's tons of disconnect, but things bump into each other in some interesting ways. And this story is, I mean, if we want to look at it from the 1,000-foot view, as they say, it's kind of a snippet out of a larger scope of this overall story, this overall world, if you want to term it that way. And all the cast did just an amazing job. John is such a character in real life. He's bigger than life. Just to sit down and, you know, chat with him or to work with him on screen. And it was a surreal experience directing him in these roles, because he is such a professional. But he's such a laid back, just normal, real person. No pretentiousness, nothing like that at all. But when we're ready to slate and call action, he means business. He's there to do it, and he brought it for the scenes. In a couple scenes in particular that he and Crystal did together were pretty long scenes. A lot of dialogue. There's a lot of story density there, and it was shocking to be on set to see this play out in real time, and then to come back and do the editing and put it in a movie. It really is carrying a big impact, and we're some of the reviewers that have already given some feedback and all on it are really taken by that those scenes. So that's really cool. The present day cast, things kind of shift gears a bit. And that it's essentially it's a group of 5 friends that kind of reunite after a period of time, and the cast just meshed so well together. They didn't meet. They didn't know each other at all until we started doing some online reads, and then finally we met up on set for the first day of shooting. You would think they've known each other since childhood. You would think they've known each other for years. It just really worked, and that chemistry really comes across well in the film. So they're getting a lot of good kudos.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, because I know in all the back scenes and everything like that, backstage, everybody is just looks like they're having a good time. Like and it's so much easier to hang out with friends than it is, to hang out with an enemy. But yeah, and everybody looks like, hey, it's go time and it's fun time and we all like each other, and that's just got to be a good feeling.
It really was. It was, we would joke around and say, we're going to have a pizza party, and at some point we'll whip out some cameras and shoot some footage, and it kind of had that real, I can't find the right word, that just real kind of friendly, familiar feel. I mean, everybody was kind of, looking out for each other. Hey, do you need another bottle of water? Do you need this? Can I help you with that? Can I carry that for you? It was just that everybody kind of took this initiative to put their best energy into the whole thing. And I think, again, that translates into what you see on screen because of the chemistry, not only as cast and actors, but also the chemistry as people. And everybody cared about their performance and cared about interacting and working with each other. And they're just such a beauty to that and an elegance to seeing how these scenes kind of just form. And even though I shot everything and directed, but I would just sit back after we'd call cut and just think, I'd be speechless. Like, what do you do with that? That was like, are we going to do another take? Yeah,
Sure.
I guess we could. We don't need to. I mean, it was just really, it just was such a well-oiled machine. Of all the stuff I worked on, and as big as the scope as this was, and a lot of moving parts, it really went nicely. So I give a lot of credit to the cast and especially these two here tonight.
Well, Terry said it best, the energy was so magnetic between the cast, both timelines, that you just felt it as soon as we met in person, because we did have some Zoom reads, before we met up in person. But as soon as we met up, it's like, oh my God, finally, I get to see you. I get to hug you. We're friends. We're going to make this movie. And everybody was so excited. And as an actor, you're feeding off of your scene partners and the people that you're working with, and everybody just came ready to work. Everybody had done their work. They had prepared their character. They brought so much to each individual role, and there's such a fine art to that. Just showing up and being ready and bringing that energy that you're holding in, that you want to share with the world, but also with the people around you. And it was just the perfect blend of artists on set. And we felt it. And it was the first night, the first scene, we knew that there was something really special about this group.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was really nice too when we all got to work together, because, obviously different timelines were not really, so when everybody got together, I thought that was a really fun night to like watch the dynamic of their group of the present day kind of come together with the dynamic of, the 1920s characters and stuff. So that was really, really cool. Just such a great group of people. Absolutely. And Amy, it was just like, she was there for the 1920s cast stuff. And oh my gosh, that girl, she like multiplied herself. I swear, you were crazy. I loved it. You were just amazing.
It was just a little too much fun. I got carried away, I guess.
So was there ever times that in doing the scenes and in doing everything that your character, you came up with something better than like what the script was saying and just kind of making it on the go or at that time?
One thing I love about working with Terry is that he really is open to collaborating, and he really is open to suggestions and different points of view. And okay, let's do one take like this, and let's also expand a little bit and do it like this. And it's not his way or the highway. It's like, yeah, let's try that. Let's see what works. Let's get a few takes in, and then you have more to work with in post. So we did have some liberty on set, and I love that. As an actor, I love that flexibility. I love to know that I can bring, a different essence to each take, and that's going to be welcome. So yeah, definitely. We did a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. John and I, we really got to sit at the table and just kind of be in character and just let loose. Like everything that we were feeling, like it just came out, and Terry just kept rolling, you know. And I mean, to find a writer director, like when people write their stuff, they're kind of like, you know, say it how I wrote it, please. Terry's not like that. He's like, you have the essence of the character, and you really like, you grabbed it and you ran with it, and it was beautiful. And you know, he's really respectful of like what you bring to the character. So that was just amazing. No experience like it, for sure.
Well, thanks for saying that. One thing that I guess it just maybe my wacky approach to the whole thing is, when I wrote the story and then wrote the script and all, you have people in mind, or you have maybe an image in mind of what that character should look like, talk like, sound like, dress like, all those things. But the one thing that no screenwriter knows better is you, like Crystal and Amy. You know yourself better than I ever would. Even if I wrote a part specifically with you in mind, you're going to read that and see it through different eyes, and you're going to know instinctively or intuitively how that character fills you inside. So that's what I try to stay open to. It's like, how do you perceive this character? Because you're playing the part. So where are the things that disconnect, and how can we connect those? And I think giving the actor the ability, if a line doesn't sound right coming out of your mouth, then it's not going to sound right coming out of your mouth. If you have a better way to say that, or phrase it, or put an inflection on a word or something like that, you know that. So let's do it that way. We don't have to, you know, throw the script out and just, you know, wing everything. But I love seeing the creative, and that's the creative side of an actor to me, is seeing them take the words and take the gist of the script and create that character, rather than just be a cardboard cutout, you know, saying pre-programmed words. And again, nailed it. And it was beautiful. And to sit back and see the story just manifest itself in this real life experience out there. It's just amazing from a writer's perspective, to see these other people take these figments of your imagination and turn them into real living performances. So yeah, I'm super grateful to have cast that could do that and work with like that.
Was there ever any part that you felt like wasn't going to be as big, and then like, oh shit, yeah, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. We got to grow this. We have to build this. We have to, you know, this is way bigger than I thought.
Kind of.
Wow, that's a well question. Amy, you answer. I don't know what to say.
In my head, I'm thinking of, you know, I think Terry and I were the two people that saw every single scene from every single timeline. And there's a few. And going back to actually Crystal and Dugan scene in the cabin in the first act, that to me was so memorable, because like Crystal was saying, there was this really long shot that we did. And it's because the chemistry between Dugan and Crystal in that moment, it was like nothing I've ever seen. I literally was in the corner of the back cabin. Like I was all teary eyed, just like, what am I watching? Because it was so organic and grounded. And I'm so glad Terry just knew gold when he saw it, because he did not stop rolling. He just followed it and got different angles. And we got that scene in one take.
Wow.
One take. So when you see that in the first act, you know, Eldora and Harlow Greer, and the first time that they meet and the conversation that they have in that cabin, that was one take. And we're like, you know what? We're not touching that. That like something just happened. And again, it was another one of those aha moments, like something really special is happening here. You could feel it. It was an energy. You felt it, you knew it. And to me, that was the biggest impression that the two of them with their characters and what they created and the choices that they made and the comfortability that they carried. And you know, when you watch it, you'll see it. It captivated me. I love it. I will go back and watch that scene over and over again. I absolutely love it.
It was such a they weren't actors in that scene. They were Harlow and Eldora. It was they put on those roles like you would put on a suit of clothes. I mean, it was the little things that either sell a scene or blow a scene, or the little things like, hand position or your eye position or taking a breath, or, that missing a beat in conversation going back and forth between two people. This is a 6-minute scene that was technically right down the middle. I mean, it was like, I looked at it a million times in editing, and it's like, this is easy. There's nothing to do. Just read the whole thing. It was such a compelling, and for their performance, but also the subject of what is going on, what they're talking about. What it's just basically two people sitting at a table talking.
Wow.
How exciting does that sound? From the start of the scene to the end of the scene, your stomach is in knots at the end of the scene. You're like, so yeah, crazy. How'd y'all do that?
Oh, Crystal, that's a good question. How did you do that?
So when Terry gave me the script, I'm not going to lie, I was really intimidated because I have chemo brain. I had cancer a few years ago, and ever since then, like, I have a hard time memorizing stuff. And he gave me the script, and I'm not kidding. Like, there were 5 pages of straight paragraphs of my dialogue, then 4 pages of Harlow's dialogue, and then we both had paragraphs for another, I don't know how many pages. And I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. And then I hung up the call with Terry and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I spent a lot of time really just kind of reading it over and over again and really getting the essence of the character. And, I memorized almost all of it, in preparation. And then John and I talked before, and we just got really comfortable with each other. And when we were there, it's just like a chemistry that I can't even explain. Like I said, I've never had it with a scene partner before. I've never had it in an acting class before. It was just so real and in the moment when we were sitting there together and we were both looking at the paragraphs like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? And we just closed the books. We closed the scripts, we put them aside, and we just connected, and we just ran the scene, and it just felt right. So yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. It was just,
and that also goes back to how Terry directs. He's like, you know what? You guys know what this scene is. You know the points that we want to hit. You know the relationship. You know the backstory that we're trying to deliver to the audience. It's a very key scene. It's a long scene, but it's very important, going backwards and forwards in the timeline, and just to give the actors the flexibility to express the story the way they felt it needed to be told. That's why it worked.
So it all comes down to trust.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
And I'm telling you, if I don't get to work with John Dugan this year, I'm driving up to Tennessee and we're going to record something in his backyard. Like I'm going to make sure that I work with John this year again, no matter what happens, because I don't know if I'll ever have a connection like that with another actor again, and it came out of nowhere. It was a surprise, but it was like the best surprise that someone can have. So
yeah, it was amazing. It was an amazing scene. And another amazing scene, jumping up to the present day cast, who again, there's so many of me. And here I am. Of course I'm going to say that, but truly, even if I wasn't connected, I would have to look at this and say, wow. There's one scene that I'm thinking where that chemistry really shows is a conversation that takes place in a car between Amy's character, her fella, and a friend. So 3 of them. And they have this conversation that runs 3 or 4 minutes sitting in a car. And again, on the surface, you're thinking, oh God, 3 or 4 minutes, just people yakking in a car. Again, from where it starts to where it ends, opens so many doors and things. But the way they bounced off of each other is just astounding. It's so, you just feel like you're sitting in a car having this conversation with 3 friends, 3 other friends. And even going deeper into other scenes, other parts of the movies, that camaraderie just really was there, and it really again brings the scene to the viewer. So
we did really trust each other, and we knew that going in. We felt it the first night. We carried it into really all of the scenes. But yeah, you're right. I do love that car scene. That was a fun scene. It was Ben, Beth, and Amber. And what's really cool about it is and I'll throw this back at Terry again. It was his artistic vision for this film. When you watch this, you feel like you're in the room or in the space with these people. It's like you're watching it and you shouldn't be there, almost like you're eavesdropping.
Oh, very cool. That's amazing because like
you're a part of it.
I don't want to
like,
look,
okay,
but I
people
don't
sitting in a
want
car talking for 3 minutes. It's like you're eavesdropping on this conversation, and you really get to see the relationship between the characters, between Beth and Amber, between Amber and Ben, between Beth and Ben, and all three of them. And it's very unique the way that it's shot, and I really love the style of this film and the direction that it went in.
So how do you prepare for your characters? So like, can you snap, or did you have like okay, so now it was specific per scene, or was it like, okay, I'm becoming Beth, meditate for a second or two and just kind of, I'm a Reiki master. So like meditation, all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm into that.
And that can be the part of developing the backstory of your character. I'm sure Crystal and I have similar ways we developed a character and created backstory. And we probably have different ways. We all have different trainings, and we bring different elements to the table when it comes to that. Luckily for this cast, we had time with the script.
Mm-hmm.
We cast at the beginning of last year, and then we started shooting at the end of April. So we had time to really marinate with that. And, for me personally, I, read the script through several times, understanding the story, understanding what is it that I'm fighting for. And then you slowly throughout the scenes make your choices. But you quickly what that instinct is for that character, because that character, there's a part of that character in you, and that's what you bring out, your own experiences, your own, thoughts about the situation. Art imitates life, imitates art. That's the truest thing for an actor. You're always pulling in your experiences, and that's what allows you to be so grounded with your character. And Crystal, I'm sure you have your own way as well.
Yeah, no, Amy's 100% right though. I mean, like, we had a lot of time, which was great. And I think Terry was always readily available if we had questions about the character, or if we had, a few different ways that we were thinking about how we wanted to approach a scene. We could get with him pretty easily and just kind of go over that, which was great. And I'm also really into meditation and mindfulness. I have a mindfulness coach that I do one-to-one sessions with, and I do a lot of theta healing. And that's something I've been doing for about 1.5 years now. Love you, Maud Hurst. And, I use that, to kind of ground myself. If I get nervous about something, or if I'm not sure about something, I can kind of go into that meditation and think. I didn't use that when I was on set. I think roasting at 120 degrees for about 10 hours before we shot the scene kind of just took that meditation right out of me. But I think it really gave an authenticity to it, because I'm supposed to be exhausted, and it really helped actually being exhausted for the scene. But yeah, I mean, really just, again, like Amy said, we are all trained in all these different ways on how to break down a script and break down a character. But at the end of the day, we're making choices, and we are putting some of our own emotions. And how would we feel if, say, for instance, I have my son with me and I don't know how we're going to eat. I don't know where we're going to sleep. I don't know where we're going to go the next day. How would I actually react? And I really put that into my character. So
do you ever find yourself little Eldora or Beth, like when you're doing at the gas station or whatever, and be like, oh shit, that was Beth, sorry. Or like, like, oh, just a second.
I would say,
go ahead, Crystal.
I would say yes, because we really put part of ourselves into these characters. At the end of the day, like, I think any character you play, you're not going to just pretend everything. It's going to be part of you. And that's the great part about casting, is you find people that are very unique for your characters that meet that personality, like at least some of those personality traits already, where they can just kind of slip into that. So it's not really like, you can't just take any actor and put him in any role. It won't work. So.
Yeah. When I read the part for Beth, I was kind of thinking, I don't know Terry. How does he know me? Because there was so much of Beth that is me. Like, she's quirky. She likes to, she's very, I don't know. She has this comedic undertone, but she can also, in a second.
That was a good snap.
switch that up.
Firecracker. She's a firecracker.
April is fun. She loves her friends, but if you back her into a corner, she is going to snap. You will know it. And so kind of playing myself, but there are parts of her that are different from me, but it was an easy character for me to tap into energy wise.
Well, we had some fun conversations. I remember right after you read, and we hopped on a call, and some of the metaphors and the sayings and the slang and lingo and things of the character, we were laughing about that because you're the only person I've ever heard say that besides, and that was part of the writing. And again, none of us were actually, roaming around in the 1920s. So I wanted to make the characters relatable and believable. And so there was some stretch there at figuring that out and getting the right tone. And the 1920s cast, again, just sold it, just really did a great job. And for the present day cast, when I wrote each of those characters, it was sort of loosey-goosey based on the types of people that we all know. We've all got that one goofy friend. We've all got that one that's kind of, introverted. We've all got, these different types. And then I just kind of kept like a sculptor with this big giant rock, I kept knocking sharp edges off. So I formed these characters that were like people that just about anybody can relate to. So when somebody watches this movie and they see Beth or they see Amber or Ben or one of the characters, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, that's like my buddy Joe," or that's like Susie I work with. You have that thing to connect to, and even some annoying traits. Amber, I won't give it away, but her annoying constant trait.
The characters are all very relatable.
Yeah, it's like you can roll your eyes and say, yeah, that guy. And so they really all tapped into that. And honestly, from what was written in the script, we probably covered that minimally as far as discussing a lot of these little traits. Everybody picked that up and we would nudge it along on set. But man, that was really, it really shines through. I think it makes you kind of feel again like you're a fly on the wall. You're kind of stuck with these people. You're along for the ride, but you can't blink. Your eyes are open the whole time. And whatever happens, good, bad, or indifferent, you're there. And should you be there? Of course you should. You got to watch the movie. But
anytime I hear "Don't Blink," I always think of the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. It's it's like Daleks and then the Weeping Angels. Like crazy. Oh man, still to this day, those things are like, oh boy.
I love it.
So when did you know that you had the story? So I assume that you've had parts of the story for a while, but when did you know that this was the finished draft? This was the finished story.
I'll know in about 2 weeks. No, I'm lying.
The second Tuesday of next week, right?
Yeah, the second Tuesday. I gladly pay you next Tuesday. That's kind of crazy thing. I've been a writer for years, writing more editorial dry stuff for news agencies and magazines and things like that from my technical side of what I do. But I was kind of one of those hidden, creative writers. And I've written so many stories, so many starts of stories, so many outlines, summaries, synopsis. Just I'll be, messing around out in the yard and an idea will pop into my head for not really a story, but just a thing girl, gets stung by a bee, whatever. And it's I take that a little, finding a penny on the ground, I take it in and put it in my bank. And that's kind of how Harlow's came together. Harlow's was probably the bones of 5 or 6 stories that I was working on, different characters, different things. But I was originally this was going to be a short, kind of a proof of concept thing, because I used some pretty interesting technology, which we're going to get into some point down the road to shoot it with. And it just had so much meat on its bones that it turned into a feature. And so I spent a good bit of time with those stories and just kind of, shaving off edges till things click. Cause it's I know this thing would work with that thing. Totally different than Harlow's story, but then pop them together, work with the characters and the transition of the storyline. And yeah, you had that part. So overall, it took me, not counting the time of writing all the little bits and pieces, but actually sitting down to you guys reading the script, 5 or 6 months. So yeah, but I'm really fanatical. I've got like, raging OCD. I'm just insane. When I finally had to lock the script, I'm sitting here with sweat pouring off my face. It's like
OCD in the best way, though. It pays off.
Yeah. It's like I just want to. And in filmmaking, there's so many things where you have to make that final call, that final decision to move forward. And like, you have to lock your story, you have to lock your script, you have to just draw the line. And I just always want to make sure that when we reach those mileposts, that what we've done up to that point is as good as it can possibly be, that we didn't leave a stone unturned or whatever, which you do. That you can always
Sequels.
you can always armchair quarterback yourself, but but you reach these points and move on with it.
So do you ever get to the point where, like, after everything is done and you've watched it a few times, and then all of a sudden you're like, crap, I have another idea that would have gone in perfect to that?
Oh no, that never happened. And that turns into another movie. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's always, I'm just now getting to the point where I can watch the movie as like a viewer and not see it for, every little frame that I've, done color work on or worked with audio or, whatever. And just able to sit back and just, pop some popcorn and watch it on the couch. And that's really fun. It's a hurdle to kind of, or maybe not a hurdle, but it's like an accomplishment to get there and be able to pull yourself away from the movie. And I know Amy and I've been talking about that lately, but yeah, you always see things you think about, but on the other hand, when you sit back and can watch it through those eyes, it's like, I wouldn't change a thing.
Fantastic. So what about this for all three of you? So is it hard to go back and like try to get invested into the movie that you made, knowing like the shenanigans and like, oh, that person was chewing gum, or that person had a cell phone in their pocket and it's 1920, 26. Is it does that take you out of it, or does it just put a smile on your face?
It just puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
So there's been shenanigans, and you know what? The movie is fantastic. So if the shenanigans come along with it, then so be it. It is what it is. We made an incredible movie, and I'm so proud of it. And I watch it and I freaking love it. And it's amazing, and made connections that are going to last a lifetime. I know, especially with the two that are like here in the room too, so to me, well worth it. Definitely smiling.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
And I feel the same way Terry does. And we do talk about it a lot, just being able to, because when you're working on the film, you're so close to it. So you're picking out every little thing. Especially Terry and post with all that editing, you're just so
psychotic.
Yeah, but that's part of it. That's part of the art of it. That's part of what's in here, and then putting it out there for everybody to see. But we would challenge each other, like, let's, you watch it tonight and I'll watch it tonight. Let's really try to watch it objectively. And I don't know if I'm sick in the head, but I just, it's one of those movies, even though I know every bit of it in and out, like, I just want to watch it again. And even now I'll turn it on and I'll find different little nuances, and I'll text her with like that specific tone of music underneath this dialogue. Like, that was so impactful to me tonight. So like, different times you watch it, different things hit. And I think when you watch it the first time and you get to the end, you're like, what?
You can swear. It's fine.
You gotta go back and rewatch it. And it goes back to the first act with Dugan and Crystal's character Harlow and Eldora. There's so much meat in those scenes. There's so much backstory. And then when it finally all starts to click and make sense, you just want to watch it again. And it's like I said, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I've lost my mind at this point. We've been working on it for so long, but to me, and I really think it's going to hold true to the audience, it's going to be one of those movies that you want to rewatch.
There's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of it's such an is untraditional word, untraditional, non-traditional, anti-traditional. It's just
to speak at this point.
And if it's not a word, you own the word. Then
I own that word. That's mine. It's just a really different movie. And that's just my crazy way of writing and filming. It's just got a weird vibrance to it that there's a lot of information in it. Again, it's a very very character dense thing. And you will miss things the first time you watch it. And then you'll pick up things the second time you watch it, and the fifth time you watch it. I've watched it 7,881 times. I'm still picking things up. And that's some of the feedback that's been coming in, that this is a rewatcher. I love hearing people. We've done a couple screenings. We have a little announcement to make too before we go. But early on, we did like a couple test screenings, and kind of for fun. And the audience feedback was at the end like, "Oh my God, can we start this over?" Like, well, no, I'm sorry, I would love to, but it was like trying to put all these things, trying to reconcile the thing. It's cool that's getting that kind of response. That just really personally, it just makes me light up, because like, you get the story. I wasn't like this crazy here at 4 a.m. for weeks and weeks, banging on my keyboard writing this nonsense. That it actually does make that connection and makes you feel something. And that was my number one goal, is for the project to make the viewer feel creeped out, feel scared, feel sad, feel out of their head, whatever it is. I just want them to go away from the end of the movie thinking about the movie and talking about the movie. And again, I throw a ton of credit back to the cast for bringing it to life, because I mean, you were the life. You're the face of all these words on paper, and without that, it wouldn't be what it is. So,
and we broke a lot of rules with the way that we shot it. The way that the scenes lined up and played out. We did not play by the rules, and I think that's what makes it very interesting and also a lot of fun.
But it's not confusing. That was a big thing, that a gamble that you take.
Yeah.
If you don't want to meander too far, but you want to keep the interest. You want to keep it a bit of a mental game going with it, like figuring things out.
But it's not that typical cookie cutter kind of laid out, strategy. Like, we have this point and that point, we're going to go here. It's just, it does what it does. It's a whole different feel.
It's like life. It's like a day in the life.
Yeah.
And my brain never works with like, oh, let's go from point A to point B. I'm like, oh, let's go to D. Let's jump up to Jeff. I can't talk. Yeah. So that's the way I am. When people are like, my wife can get super organized and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, just tell me what to do.
It's a lot of fun to watch. I'll give it that.
It's something else.
So what is this news you speak of?
Yeah.
News? I had a little news. Well, actually, I have two things. First, we also have in our midst the Cricket Wireless girl commercial.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Crystal is the face of Cricket Wireless.
Oh,
and so she just shot an amazing commercial for Cricket. So she's out there every time.
It turned out great. Did you shoot that remotely from your home?
No, they flew me to California, and I shot it in Agoura Hills, California. It was beautiful. And they flew me out, and they paid for my hotel. I was like, okay, you're paying me to do this. It was an adventure.
Do you get a phone?
Amazing.
Do you get a phone?
No, I don't get a phone. They did give me some merch. I have it over there. I could show you guys. But I got merch and stuff, but no phone.
That's cool.
Well, they'll work up to that.
Yeah.
And then that other little thing, and we've already made the announcement online on our socials, but you hear it here first. This is the first show we've announced it on. We just signed our exclusive distribution deal late last week with Bayview Entertainment. If not sure if you've heard of Bayview, Bayview is an amazing company in marketing, production, distribution. Fantastic company. They have thousands of titles. Right now, you probably would know them as the distributor for Skinamarink. So they are, big dudes with cool interest, and we were fortunate enough and still kind of in shock that we have them as our sole distributor. So stay tuned for when and where and all the rollout stuff as that all comes together. But yeah, there we have it. Our this bunch of little monkeys making a movie out in the woods in Florida. And
Central Florida.
That is amazing. That is so awesome. Congratulations, everybody. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm in Iowa and can't get anything. I tried so many ways to download everything today, and man, it sucks.
We'll have to have them out here for a screening.
Yeah, I would, and I work for a theater too.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
I do. I do marketing for a local theater here in town, marketing and events and stuff like that. So I host trivia and bingo and all sorts of fun stuff. So
that would be fun.
Oh yeah, love music bingo. Was the I do. I created an Uno tournament. I created a new game. It's a half clue, half trivia, half acted like a dumbass. It's going to be amazing. It's called Get a Clue. I'm stoked. That's the way my brain works. But so, question for you. We're going to play a little bit of a game here in a second. But first, I got to know, what is your favorite horror movie? Go ahead, Terry.
Me? It kind of straddles the line, but my number one that I always go back to, and Amy was laughing at me the other night for it, is Psycho. I watch Psycho constantly. It's like I swim in the waters of Psycho and Hitchcock and David Lynch. Anything David Lynch, Eraserhead, Elephant Man, Twin Peaks, of course.
Yeah.
And
Lost Highway.
Lost Highway. I mean, it just goes on. And then Blair Witch Project. They're super cool people. I love that visceral feel in that movie, and that there's a lot of that in our movie. That not, how Lynch films kind of have that lack of polish, but they're still refined, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And the more you polish something, to me anyway, the more you put space, you put air between your viewer and the movie. And where, again, my nutty way of thinking, I want to bring the viewer and the film as close as possible. I want, and not like to sit in the front row like we did at Terrifier 2, but I want the viewer very close.
Great movie.
Amazing movie. And we literally did get it. It was just our seats. That's just what we got. But yeah, I like to look at movies like that. So I'd say Psycho, anything David Lynch, and Blair Witch.
So about the Lost Highway, quick story. I was watching Lost Highway with my brother, and I had to take a piss. When I came back from the piss, the main character was somebody else. I had no freaking clue. I took the piss at the exact wrong time of that movie. Yeah. But all right. What about you, Amy? What's your favorite horror movies or memorable?
I mean, Terry's still one of mine, Blair Witch. It's a classic, and I watch it every year. And I am a big fan of the Hell House LLC movies, which is also a very uniquely shot style of film. I really love the third one. I don't know. There's just something so unsettling about the way that those films were shot. And I love the style. I love the clowns really, really creep me out. It made its impact on me. So something so simple like that, just, just a clown standing there. It totally did a job of creeping me out. So I have to give it a lot of credit.
Crystal, we need you to watch all 3 of these movies tonight.
No.
Crystal's a very clown phobic.
Yeah. Big Hell House fan.
I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. But that's
so
creepy.
Bozo is yours, right? From as a kid, Bozo the clown.
I actually could watch Bozo all the time. I wasn't too afraid of him, and unless he came near me, then that would have been it with that.
Yeah.
So no.
What about Ronald McDonald?
No, I don't like him either.
Yeah, he creeps me out.
Right?
Yeah. I don't like him. No, I think what did it for me is like I don't know how old I was. I was really young when it came out. And when that clown popped out of that freaking sewer like that was it
Tim
for me.
Curry.
The book started bleeding and I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't do it. But yeah, I guess my favorite horror movie, I mean, anything from the late 1970s, I think was really great. So like I love the original Halloween movie. Michael Myers just scares the pants out of me. Like he doesn't even run, but he's going to kill you anyways. Like, it was just creepy growing up. Love the sleepaway camp movies. I know that's like a lot of people don't, but I love them. That was like some of my favorite stuff. My parents were like, what are you watching? I'm like, nothing, don't worry. I was a kid. But yeah, nothing with clowns, please. I can't do it. I'm trying to get through Terrifier 2 and I can't.
I'm gonna screw with you, Crystal. I didn't know that.
No.
Oh yeah.
You have a can of worms.
So Terry already does that. He used to have right behind him. He used to have the clown. Now it's over in the corner.
Right here.
Our first conversation together, all I was doing was like staring at it and then staring at my closet, like, oh my God. And it's too much for me.
Yeah, this my office is like a room of horrors. It's got all kinds of crap. Yeah, I want to throw 2 more movies in though. And I'll shut up. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. Yeah. Obviously for John, but that movie was amazing. And actually, I've got the shirt on. I was out at the house for an event this past July. Horror Fans for Healing. It was a charity to raise money for the Uvalde shooting thing, and it was amazing to be there with Eddie Neal, played the hitchhiker. Alan Danziger was Jerry, drove the van, and to be in the house and roam around the house. It was, and then after just, working with John and all, it was just such a surreal thing. And that movie, Tobe Hooper, just, again, kind of, like Amy said, broke rules. Just, it's like, let's make this movie, let's make it feel this way. And so Texas Chainsaw and The Exorcist.
That's awesome. So there's one movie. So Children of the Corn, to this day, I can't even hear the intro. I remember being like 10, my sister locking me out of the house after watching that movie, and like nothing but corn. I live in Iowa, guys.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Right. And I mean, I told my parents it was like 45 minutes. It quite possibly could have been like a minute and a half. But and to this day, I will not let my sister live this down. But yeah, Children of the Corn scares the living shit out of me all the time. And then the Mothman Prophecies.
Yep.
One of those movies, like, it is not scary, but it's freaking it's scary though. I mean, there's something about the realness of it, like that. Just I was in the military at the time out in Washington State, and like I remember going home, like running into the dorm room, and I wasn't even drunk. It's just like, boy. Yeah.
And those are the movies that scare me, are the ones that it's like, okay, this is a little bit too real. This is super cinematic. This is raw. This is real. This could happen. That's what gets in my head.
Yeah.
And that's a big point too, that I always try to think about in film or screenwriting. It's and I absolutely love the Terrifier movies, and especially Terrifier 2, and the bedroom scene. It's just gold, and it's kind of like it's its thing. I mean, that's the construct of the story, which is awesome. But I was talking to the guys out in Texas, and it made me think of this. And I was talking to Alan about this one scene in Texas Chainsaw where where Leatherface brings the girl in and hangs her up on the meat hook, and and his character is laying over to the side. And he said, what's funny is I've talked to so many people over the years that say that scene scarred him for life. It horrified him when the hook came busting through her chest and the blood went everywhere and she's screaming and blood flying. He said there wasn't one drop of blood. There was no hook come through her. It was, we had an apparatus that he hung her up, and that was it. And she, flailed around and kicked. But there is so little blood in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But we agree that is indicative of good writing and good acting by the cast. If they can make you go away thinking, oh my God, that was the bloodiest movie I've ever seen. There's almost no blood in it. It's all you create this in your head, like Hitchcock. It was so many of his films and Psycho and all that. Give your audience some credit here, that they're thinking along with your film, and they're building a mental picture of this story along with you, and the actors are giving them the landmarks to follow to build that, create that story in their own mind. And so that I don't know if I got off on that. I'm over caffeinated. So
have you ever heard of the Villisca Axe Murder House?
No.
So it's in Iowa. It's one of our claimed to fame. It's an unsolved murder from 1912.
What is it called?
It's called the Villisca Axe Murder House. I've been there. I haven't stayed there, but you could actually spend the night. But anyway, these
spend the night.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, like a Ghost Hunter or not Ghost Adventures.
Maybe you have to room with me. I'm not going by myself.
There's a clown in every room.
Oh, there is. They're definitely, and it's the 1912
going.
clowns where they're like kind of fake, but then really, really, bad. But yeah. But so some woke up and all these people were dead, and they don't know who did it or anything like that, and it's crazy. If you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, it's a pretty cool rabbit hole to go down.
We're gonna be Googling this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really all over it.
This is what we do. We're like, oh.
And this is how I bait my new friends to come to Iowa and say hi.
In 3 weeks from now, there's going to be some ideas that I hear about, I'm sure.
Hey, yeah, we're thinking about this axe murder thing.
Axe murdering clown?
Oh.
Murdering clowns.
Yeah, awesome. So, question. If you could take any Disney property, any Disney franchise, and turn it into a horror movie, horror genre, what would it be and how would you do it?
I've got such a snarky answer.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, we're saving yours for last then.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll blow the internet up.
I'm just going to go off the top of my head. I'm sure I could give this a lot of thought and come up with all kinds of sickness. Because that's what I do for fun. But my favorite Disney movie of all time is The Little Mermaid. So, there are some, the Ursula, she's a very dark character. And then the other character that, if you're familiar with the story, Ariel comes, she gives up her voice so that she can go and land and meet Eric, but the witch has already placed another, female character in there with her voice. And, if Ariel really could express what she was feeling, she'd probably go on a big murder spree. I could just see that very easily happening. Just, one by one, taking out people in the castle and making sure that she didn't give up her voice for a reason. There was no, loss in that.
I love it.
That's really twisted. Now you got me thinking crazy murders.
I can see the conversation starting.
But these are normal conversations that Terry and I have all the time. So,
yeah, this is my favorite question for people that come on. It's either horror movie genre or bring them into Star Wars. So, but horror movies more fun. Crystal, what about you?
Gosh, I was thinking, I would say Cinderella. Like she could just pop off. The amount of torture she could do to those wicked stepsisters. Like, I can just imagine them down in like her dungeon, and she's like I don't know if you've ever seen Hostel, but I mean, like
Mhm.
cut Achilles tendons and stuff. Like, I mean, there could be some gore. Like, she could really torture those girls. Like, I don't know. It would be more of a torture movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're seeing some inner Crystal here.
I keep telling you I want to kill people. I was in the middle of Target. People were looking down the aisle like,
the roll.
it was so bad.
Oh,
I don't actually want to kill people, just in case.
let's clear that up.
All right, Terry, what about you?
You know, I don't know how to say it. Kind of riffing on what Amy said. It would be hard to really make one into a horror movie about any of them, because they all, to me, are all horror movies to begin with. They all.
Somebody's like, their parents are always dead.
Parents are dead. It's always grief. It's always there. How many witches are in horror or in Disney movies? Cinderella. You've got the Wicked Witch here, and so you've got. Oh, look at that guy!
Whoa,
Baby.
Noogie.
welcome.
Why can't I see you guys?
Can you
I
see?
can hear you. Hold on. Hello. Hold on. Can you hear me?
You there?
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. It sounds
it
like an
going today?
Amy or
That one
I
was
don't know.
Crystal, but Crystal,
That's,
yeah,
that's Crystal.
happy.
Okay. Yeah, hi, Crystal. Okay,
Hi,
hold
John.
on. What I have to do? Bear with
Happy
me. I
birthday.
just turned 70 years old, for God's sake.
Happy
You're not.
birthday.
They were 29.
Okay, I've done that. I've done this. I've gone here. Chat with everyone in the studio. Chat with everyone in the studio. Hi, I don't know.
Well, can you hear us?
Yeah, and I can see you, except it's all.
Well,
Ugh,
we can see you, and
scary. It's scary and gray. What?
We can see you, which is good.
It's probably my hat.
It could be the hat.
Who said that? Joe,
Oh.
of course it's your hat. Hey, Joe, what's the deal with your fucking haircut, man? hey, Joe, it looks really nice. It looks really nice. I'm proud of you.
Hi, John. Happy birthday. Happy a little late birthday.
yeah.
This is Bradley. John, meet Bradley.
Oh, hey, Bradley. Bradley.
Love it.
I think we should sing Happy Birthday.
No, please don't do that. No. Oh, you know what now?
All right.
Let me tell you something. Everybody in the little town that I live around here, and when I stop into the local, where's my camera? I want to see you guys. Crap. So anyway, what was I saying? So I had told everybody, please don't make a real big deal about this, and don't buy me a bunch of drinks so somebody has to drive me home and I passed out in the yard when my wife gets home from work. You know, all that shit that guys do to each other. You know, and oh man, they're awful. You know, your birthday, or your like fucking bachelor party. Shit. They'll take your clothes off and throw it in the fucking seal pool at the zoo the night before you get married, and think that shit's funny. You know what I mean?
And then,
But that's guys for you.
And what encampment is the pool at the zoo in? I think that's the big thing. Like, what's the animals that are coming around as?
Oh
as
no,
making-
just sea lions and no, just sea lions and that the sea lion pool. I wouldn't want to get in with those other sons of bitches. And not like I haven't ridden a polar bear before, because you know I was rather wild as a younger man.
Oh my God.
I am just sorry that I missed this party.
Oh, I want to see you guys. What's the matter with this gold darn damn gold ding?
If you're on your
Yes,
phone, dude, it's probably because there's 5 of us, so you're not going to see everybody at the same time. But we can see you and hear you perfectly.
Yeah, you're coming through.
But
great.
I was writing postcards going nowhere.
Always a
Well,
good.
the first time somebody there's an apartment in Chicago, and some guy, we're all sitting cross-legged on the floor, smoking dope, and it's probably got some jugs of fucking, cheap wine and maybe some beer out there. I'll be like, mellow, like real kumbaya stuff, And this guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy picks up, oh, there's a guitar over there. And I hate people like that. I'm sorry. Unless you have a recording contract, I don't want to hear you whip out a fucking guitar at a party and start playing a bit.
And if you do,
You know
you
what I
better be
mean?
good.
No, seriously, Terry, really. I hope. Do you play?
Not professionally. I don't have a recording contract, so
But do you ever whip it out at a party? I mean, a guitar.
Oh, wait, yeah, you mean a guitar?
Yeah.
Let's make sure we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
We need to play any guitar. We just want to get to the zoo you're talking about. That's great.
We've been
Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. What happens is, as soon as there's somebody, this happened to several of my friends because I live quite close to the zoo, and we were all in our 20s and bartenders and shit and out of our minds and all that stuff. And it would happen. I knew several people who woke up, or decided to swim with the seals, that sort of thing. But the problem is when the zoo is closed, all the animals know it's supposed to be closed, and they can tell. And so I always wondered why the gates were so short to get into Lincoln Park Zoo. I mean, I could vault right over them, at the entrance. I'll tell you why. The animals know you're not supposed to be in there and start creating such a fucking racket that fucking security is there in like fucking minute and a half. Freeze! Keep your hands where I can see it. But my dick. Okay, keep your dick where I can see it. I don't know. But,
I think we have the new storyline for Harlow's Haunt too.
oh, please!
As we go.
Write this down.
Harlow goes to the zoo.
Oh,
Harlow zoo.
Harlow
Sounds like
opens the zoo. Harlow Zoo. Could be anything.
Harlow is dragging.
Harlow's bait shop and petting zoo.
We can get
And wait a minute. Stained glass, live bait, and petting zoo.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
I mean, how can
Write
you
it down, Terry.
we're writing.
stained glass?
Hey, I have to go, guys.
John, thank you so much.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
John.
having
No
me,
problem.
John.
Love you, John. Have you.
Oh, God, I love you guys. Can't wait to see you.
Love you,
Yeah,
John.
can't wait to see you
Bye.
too.
Birthday.
Bye.
Thank you.
That was fun.
That was
awesome.
amazing. That was awesome. That was awesome. I don't even know where were we now.
At the zoo.
We're at the zoo with John. John has 1,000,001 stories.
That's amazing.
And they're all fun.
And they're all fun and funny. And I just love him. I absolutely love him. If he'd let me move in with him, I'd live out in the garage or shed or whatever. But
Awesome. Disney into horror. So okay,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
mine would be Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But the pitch is all the seven dwarfs are not grumpy happy, but they're all after one of the 7 deadly sins.
Ooh.
Oh. See, you had more time to think about it.
Yeah. This was premeditated.
I
Yeah.
love the mind on that. That's actually a good one.
Yeah, my other podcast that I do, Revenge of the Nerds, my buddy and I, we actually did a whole episode of that exact pitch of
I love it.
turning Snow White into into a horror movie. Yeah, we have a lot of spare time on our hands. So,
Why do I feel like I'm going to be thinking about this so much more?
Yeah.
I love things that shift gears like that. And correct me if I'm wrong. The new Frasier that's coming back out, the TV show. Have you seen that?
I have not.
Pitch on it. Well, you know Frasier from the '90s. You know, it's a goofy comedy. They're coming back.
Did
but-
Larry David? Is he the writer on this?
No. It's I don't know who's the writer, but what's his name? Who plays Frasier? Kelsey Grammer. He's coming back. David Hyde Pierce is coming back as his brother, but it's going to be like a murder thriller, dark story. And I've just picked up little bits and pieces. And it's something like he is trying to kill his brother or something. But it's the same characters, but it's like 20 years later, 25 years later, whatever it is, that there's been this real serious change in what's going on in Frasier's world. And it takes place in a different, because I think they were in Seattle for the show. The original show. And so this is in a different city, different stuff going on, but it's like Frasier is bad Frasier from everything I'm seeing. It's like, yeah, and it looks good. I'm digging it.
Take it to the dark side.
I think
take it over to the dark side.
Yeah, just takes it in a different direction.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervously biting my fingernails about the new Dexter announcements. I'm a huge
I know.
Dexter fan. But First Blood, season 8 and First Blood both kind of are like.
Do you know what's scary, stupid? The new Night Court. It is so freaking bad. It is horrible.
I've just seen the trailers. And
it is. Don't waste your time.
Nope.
I barely made it through the first episode, and I felt, although I only did that because I watched the show back in the 90s. I was like, okay, Harry Stone. I gotta get through this for Harry Stone.
Yeah.
And then. Then it didn't happen.
I love Larroquette. Do you know his horror connection? Can anybody say John Larroquette's horror connection to a movie we were just talked about? He narrates the opening to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh wow!
No way.
He's the VO on the scroll at the beginning of the movie. Sally Hardesty. Blah 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 blah.
Really?
That's Larroquette. Yeah, and he was paid. Toby Hooper paid him with a bag of weed.
That's still pay.
Did you know John Hurt wasn't paid for his cameo in Spaceballs?
Really?
Wow.
Right. He thought he was only going in for like just a one-off, and instead they had him do the whole chest buster scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love that movie.
Cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. This Mel Brooks, Young Frankenstein. Oh my God.
Oh,
I put that on my list too.
That is
Pseudo horror.
That is a fantastic movie. Guys, this was so much fun. Will you guys come back on?
Anytime you have.
absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
We love that. And thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. We appreciate the support and the enthusiasm. And, if there's anything we can do to help y'all along the way, let us know.
We'll do. And let's go ahead. I want to hear some good plugs for everybody. And especially we got some cricket. So make sure you get your cricket wireless as well.
We got to get you a phone.
Yes.
I have too many phones already. I have 3 phones, so I don't need any more phones. So
where can we find you on the socials?
Instagram, I'm crystal.gorski, and then everywhere is crystal.gorski, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Just come follow me. I'll follow you back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It's either Amy Rolfsen, Amy.Rolfsen, Amy_Rolfsen, whatever's available. Somewhere in there you'll find me. And definitely everything Harlow's Haunt is just Harlow's Haunt. We're on every channel you can think of, and we keep the conversation going, so feel free to reach out and hit us up, slide into the DMs, ask questions, because we're always hopping on there and talking to the fans and checking things out.
Awesome.
Yeah, Amy pretty much covered it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It's all Harlow's Haunt. We've got a really active Facebook group that's it's growing. It's Harlow's Haunt Movie on there. I don't know if that makes any difference. But yeah, we're on there pretty much every day, at least a little bit of news update, a little bit of something here or there. I appreciate, I know we've been talking for a while, and I appreciate you follow along and liking some of our stuff and subscribing and checking and doing all the things that you're supposed to do. And but yeah, and as far as my stuff, just my name, Terry Jarrell, or I think I use Black Dog Films with a Z on Instagram for personal stuff, which personal life is work life anyway.
Right.
So, but yeah, always happy to talk to anybody. I mean, if you're thinking about getting into film or want to talk cameras or drones, I do drone cinematography, anything like that. That you have a question, we all all ships rise with the tides. I mean, we're this big giant horror community all over the world. So that camaraderie is something we feel is very important. So we want to always stay in touch with our audience, our people, our friends, our supporters, and all that. So thanks for having us on. It really means a lot.
Yeah, this was a ton of fun, surprises and all. This was awesome.
And we got to see John tonight. So
yeah, John had a little cameo.
I know it, man. That's awesome. I'll be cutting up this. I'll make some TikToks and we'll throw them out there to promote the episode. All right, awesome. So you can tweet at me at Fandemic3, but I don't check Twitter barely ever anymore. So it happens. You can message me on Facebook, is where I'm most currently found at Fandemic, the Fandemic. Now I'm also active on TikTok as the Fandemic1. Hear my reviews and so much more. Don't forget to subscribe to my other show, Prevenge of the Nerds. I also have another podcast coming relatively soon called Alone Star. If you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thefandemic. And me and my podcast partner, Brian S. Dennis, we will toast you or roast you on the next episode. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. You can become an episode assistant, episode producer, a producer, Prevenge producer, or yes, you could be part of the Council of Nerds, starting at $5 a month. Become a monthly supporter on anchor.fm, or just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for leveling up my awesome and being a part of the Fandemic family. So, in closing, I think we have hit max levels of awesome for this evening. I like to end every episode on a positive note. What are your words of wisdom?
Ooh.
No matter where you go, there you are.
Oh, yes.
Terry's known for that one.
I like the hand. I like.
Yeah, he's known for that one. We throw that around a lot. Mine would have to be to thine own self be true.
Love it.
Whatever it is you're doing, go with your instincts and be true to yourself, and that's when things happen.
I love it.
Yeah. I would say life is precious, and live every day as much as you can to the fullest, and never stop dreaming. Like always keep going for your dreams.
I love that as well. So we're all playing the same game in life, just on a different level. You're welcome for leveling up your awesome. Live free or die empty. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. And squirrels' cheeks are also their nut sacks. Remember, don't let today end in a why didn't I. Have a great day.